see. Let's try again. I wonder if... Oops. I wonder if the fucking Three Stooges will rock up on this one. Stay. There we go. I'll address this one to the Governor General. We're going to have to make some new taxes to pay for the security of I don't know, sorting out this mess, this litter. This is majoritively going to have to come from the banking, and I'm guessing this is why ANZ just sacked all their staff, because they think they're going to run the clock out with computers, and it's up to them to do whatever they want. But you're going to be taxed to cover the cost of this litter, of this pollution, financial pollution, technological pollution, cultural degradation, pollution. Just how many years now? Let's say 30 years of e-pollution, electronic pollution. That's probably the best way to think about it. And this isn't new. We speak about the plastic in the ocean. Do we really think that we haven't polluted our minds, our cultures, our traditions with e-pollution? Well, we have. And now it's time to go after the individuals responsible. The individuals that have used these electronic technologies to fast track and systematize and automate and streamline their systems, usually the most case to avoid tax. And their avoidance of tax and their tax incentives and their employment incentives, their salary incentives, in the form of, we're pretty used to talking about motor vehicles. And then we've just started to address this because motor vehicles are, polluting, and they actually require a shitload of infrastructure that the state has to pay for. So they're actually like a loss leading thing, especially when you get a big, dual cab 4-wheel drive that the person has, or a big SUV that the employee has for them to drive, I don't know, to the fucking bottle shop after they've finished their day of working at home. This has been costing the country probably billions, but at least we're familiar with it. People are familiar with this type of thing. I'm not against cars. I'm against insanity. And so this is the next thing. This is the e-pollution, because it's the corporations, it's the government entities, it's the finance companies. You're the ones that have pioneered the usage of these internet-connected systems, because as they were used to, organize your offices and organize your staff and all this, and then you've created this paradigm, and it's within this paradigm that has been grabbed, utilized by basically pirates, and then sold to our children. And then because you're all just so familiar, so comfortable in these artificial environments, this is why it takes somebody speaking to their laptop for 3 years to finally get to terms with it. And this is no different really than automobile safety. There were tons of automobile accidents when the first cars were brought out. In fact, the one I always like to use is that windscreens used to be made out of plate glass, which basically meant if you got in a small fender bender, you had a really high likelihood of being decapitated. Now, this led to one of the largest safety innovations in glass history. It's like the Robin Hood story of glaziers. And I guess this is no different. This tax now is going to be for all organizations with more than 100 staff in this country. You're going to be taxed to provide resources to fix the problems that you've created. which are everywhere. Everywhere I look, there is this pollution. And you have gone so far that your financial calculations that you're using have actually become a kind of suicide equation, because you are smelling your own farts, I think is the best way to fucking say it. Collectively, you're all smelling your own farts, you're smelling each other's farts, and nobody's saying, well, that paddock there only makes $100 a year at the highest level of agricultural output, yet it's worth $1 million. And it's far worse than that. See, the fundamentals have gone out the window because there was no restrictions. You were freed from any of those, those restraints, those archaic restraints like soil quality and aspect and I don't know, water. All of that was gone. And then to incentivize people into your little, place, you've incentivized them with all these things that human history has spent billions of man hours trying to keep us from, and these are the exact things that you use to lure people into your employment. And so you've hijacked our country, all of our countries, and you have stretched your own financial projections, to paper thin status, and you're attempting to walk the entire Australian population across this piece of paper that stretches over the Grand Canyon. And it's going to rip and everyone's going to fall through it and they're all going to die. And so the crazy thing is, like, you don't even have the resources or the efficiency to actually cover the costs of even one of the newly emergent negative phenomenons occurring within the paradigm that you have created. And it's like, where have we been? Where have we been here before? Well, cigarette companies. They were selling tobacco. Tobacco was a thing. Cigarette companies, right? They're harmful. They weren't selling the fact that they were harmful, and they pretended that they weren't harmful for a long time. And that's where we're at. What are the associated societal and cultural costs and financial costs to a society that has abandoned its baseline humanitarian or cultural arrangements for gobbledygook? I don't know. But it's not good. If I look at it from a defense standpoint, I'm very pissed off. I'm very pissed off that our government has allowed this to happen. That no one had the foresight to think that creating this was creating a nightmare. And this is the whole thing. This is the baby boomer catch cry. Spend the inheritance. Fuck the kids, spend the inheritance. Well, you wouldn't even fucking be here if your ancestors had that opinion. The most of you. And what else does that mentality? See, it's like it's cute when it's stuck on the back of a caravan. Screw the kids. I'm going to spend the inheritance. When that's a little bumper sticker, it's like, oh, that's funny. Yeah, you go. Collective boomer delusion. But what else does that mean? It's like, well, screw the fucking environment. And yeah, that's classed as this hippie thing. Oh, so you're a hippie, Shannon. You're just talking about fucking carbon dioxide and climate change. No, I'm not. I'm not even beginning to talk about pollution or about environmental catastrophe. I'm talking about financial insanity. Because that little catch cry, fuck the kids, spend the inheritance, it's like, well, that's always existed. Sell your kids into slavery. You know what I mean? There is no future where the collective humans of planet Earth are not looking back at this baby boomer generation with such disgust. And they can't understand it, because when they look back at history, all they see is generation after generation after generation of like hardworking, like, oh, look at all the stuff they did. They did all this. Oh, they're such heroes. I can't wait till we inherit that and then spend it all. I can't wait till we inherit all of that fucking praise so that we can spend it all. And that's where the finance companies came in. Well, you don't have to wait. You don't even have to wait till you inherit it. Just start spending it now. We'll sort it out. You're going to inherit it anyway. You are inheriting that status as the greatest generation of all time. So spend away. It's like, and how did we get here? Well, because they accepted that, and the people promoting that got better, until the point where now you speak to people now, you speak to this generation millennial, they don't know any different. I watched around me and discussed as my ex-girlfriend's grandfather was kind of just cast aside, like this self-fulfilling delusion of his daughter's claim to the country, and you know, oh, granddad's racist, or granddad's fucking a bit rough around the edges, or granddad, you know, goes and finds free stuff and brings it home. What an old-fashioned fucking so-and-so. But that's insane. No, that's a genocide. That's a genocide. That's what it looks like. And I watched it go from there in disgust to an individual in their 80s. That made me self-reflect onto what my extended family had done to my own father. And then I watched that materialize onto myself as a 36-year-old. That's what this has done. This is cannibalism. This is suicidal cannibalism. So yeah, that's why the fucking every company that has more than 100 staff, get ready for the highest taxes ever. And what does that mean? It means they're all going to leave because they're not even here anyway. Which, what does that mean? It means that all of your slave masters are leaving and you're not going to have any money. So what does that mean? Well, it means that the entire fucking global financial market is about to crash. And what does that mean? Well, it means nobody's going to have a fucking job. But luckily, there'll be tons of jobs to do. So if you do get bored, you know, there'll be so many things to fix that it won't even be funny. But how are we all going to eat? Oh, well, we take the thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of kilograms of grain that we make everything, and we eat bread. What about all the other stuff? What other stuff? Oh, right. It only takes one fucking generation to fuck the whole thing. Now, the problem is that this used to be distributed throughout families. Everyone knows it. There was a cycle. There was one person makes it, one person protects it, one person loses it. And this used to be just in the patriarchy, this would be described as son. So it's like the grandfather makes it, the son protects it, then the grandson fucks it all off. Unfortunately, because of this PR, because of global finance, because of the internet, because of this e-pollution, this global broadcasting network of interactive social media, lockstep. We're going to spend all our granddad's money on fucking vapes and fucking Pokemon cards and whatever the fuck, Nike shoes and bullshit. Because of that, they could line up everyone like a firing squad against a wall. They could line up every single boomer fucking thing. This is what we're doing together. We're all doing this together. What are we doing together? Well, we're all betraying 100 generations of our ancestors. No, I don't. That doesn't feel good. What do you mean that doesn't feel good? Are you fucking? You're not going to do what we're all doing. This is what I'm talking about. That's what's happened. An entire generation convinced to betray every single fucking thing that hundreds of generations had acquired, had protected, sometimes in horrific wars that make, perhaps not this, there are horrific things that happened in World War II, which none of the boomers were in. There was a really mechanical, disgusting thing. And the bravery is always there to walk into that, because we didn't have enough time to adapt. Humans didn't have enough time to adapt to that concept. So yes, there's bravery and there's all these things like there always has been, but the honor system fell down because it just all worked differently. And this is what happens as well. That's like the Great Wall of bullshit of the world wars. You can't see past them, because they were so horrific, they were so large. And because the boomers came from that generation, they would constantly think, they were like, well, we're doing that. We're inheriting that so we can spend it all. That's World War III. World War III started the day that World War II ended, and it's still fucking going right now. And it has nothing to do with trenches, with Spitfires, with tanks. It has to do with convincing people, convincing an entire generation to betray every single one of their ancestors 100 generations back, to spend their inheritance, and to enslave their children. That's it. It's like that movie Inception. It's like a simple thing to do. That's actually what that movie is about if you go and watch it. What's it, Cillian? Is it Cillian Murphy? In that movie, Leonardo DiCaprio goes into Cillian Murphy's dreams and tries to convince him to break up his father's. Convinces him to destroy his ancestors' heritage and protected assets, cultural, intellectual, religious, political, financial, everything, to buy time zone credits to play video games. Yeah, that'll fucking do it. That'll do it every fucking time. So what are these companies right now? Well, the whole thing has been projected into this. So how does the recruitment manager for fucking BHP or Rio Tinto, how do you fucking sleep at night knowing that you're installing human beings into your fucking mincer? How much debt are you in? What are you actually holding? In these holdings. Hancock Holding. What are you fucking holding? A hole in the ground? I think you've benefited enough from the intellectual property that you've kind of fucking rubbed up against by your ancestors landing in this place, but you've done your fucking dash. You've lost all of that in creating this fucking monstrosity. The whole thing working as some fucking unified delusion so that nobody fucking gets their calculator out and does the most simple of sums. No one gets their history book and goes, hang on a second. And what's the pinnacle of this now? The pinnacle of this now is that there's girls in the UK being arrested by 2 other girls because of something, of viewing a post on social media, and the phone's being confiscated. What? That's e-pollution. That's not, I see that as no different to the children in Africa rummaging through the piles of fucking e-waste, which is what that's called, electronic waste, computers, microchips, to try and pull out the chips and melt them down back to gold. In fact, if I was to give, if I was an insurance thing, I'd be like, I will class this new emergent e-waste phenomenon as 1,000 times more risky than rummaging through a big pile of fucking computer waste. At least then you know what I mean? You know not to stand directly on the monitor because the glass might break and your foot might go in there and you might cut your leg. How the fuck is any single person ever going to navigate this rubbish pile? This collective fucking delusion, because it's not even there. It's being projected. There is a projected rubbish pile. It's the abandoned fucking storage fucking facility of every boomer from the Western world. Everything that they've ever not fucking dealt with. Every time they've been convinced to fucking sell out their fucking ancestors in order for a fucking tired blowjob or handjob or a fucking new, I don't know, set of golf clubs. Whatever the fuck it is. Then they've trained their fucking Gen X fucking spastic children to fucking do the same thing. And the millennials, they're just hanging on for dear life, being fucking dragged along by this fucking boomer rope on a fucking ghost ship to fucking the Bermuda Triangle. Where hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years of tradition and culture and responsible management and all these things disappear. So that the boomers can fucking, I don't know, go and have a cocktail on a Virgin fucking cruise ship. But who's going to pay for it? Who's going to pay for the security guards, not police, the security guards that are going to patrol the suburbs to make sure that fucking marauding gangs of fucking dispossessed fucking video game addled fucking meth heads aren't fucking loading their pool table on the back of a truck while you take little Johnny to fucking karate practice? Who's going to pay for that? Who's going to pay for the fucking therapy? No one. Bankrupt. Not just Australia. Humanity, humankind has been bankrupted. Western civilization has been bankrupted so that one generation can live as slovenly fucking kings. So the problem is that people have looked at this. It's easy to grab Gina Rinehart and go, da. I see Gina as an amazing person. She's done it. She didn't know. Everyone was doing this. She didn't invent this. She got to the top and she did a thing. So those individuals have the best opportunity to do something. But we need a lever to force them to do it. And that is always tax. And it's not taxing the rich. It's taxing their organizations to pay for the damage that their incentives are doing to the overall society. That has nothing to do with Gina Rinehart. That has nothing to do with Twiggy Forrest. It has nothing to do with Elon Musk. It has to do with societal norms and how we fucking strayed away from things that make us human. If you want to incentivize your employees with filth, you know what I mean? With strategies to avoid responsibility, with, fast track shortcuts to land ownership, all these things, then you can pay for the fucking overall societal damage. Considering I'm in WA, the iron ore capital of the world, I'll now say a thing that basically, except for about, a handful of iron tools, perhaps some blades and things like that for saws, I don't need any iron ore if I have time. Steel, iron ore, iron, whatever, all those things, they are a shortcut at every point. It is always a shortcut. Down to the simplest of a machete. You fucking wave a machete at someone, that's a shortcut. So how is this any different? How is a fucking payday loan, or how is a 30-year 5% mortgage any different than a machete? It's not. So perhaps there's an avenue there. Perhaps I've found another lever there. Okay. If you want to get a 5% mortgage in this country, you cannot work for a company that has over 100 employees. How about that? Otherwise, what are you but a machete-wielding fucking lunatic? That's how I see it. And I'm in a position to say it. And I'll go and interview and get a tally of all the actual property owners in this country. What do you think about 5% mortgages? Would you compare it to a machete-wielding gang? Yes, I would. Oh. Well, there you have it. Straight from the horse's mouth. We've had our little fucking carbon tax period. We've had our little Al Gore rhythm scissor lift fucking party. We've had it. It worked. You bought yourselves 20, 30 years, whatever it was. Good on you. Well done. Welcome to the fucking new world. You will be expected to pay for the damage you bring to our societies. I look forward to seeing how the genius minds, financial, engineering, sales and marketing, whatever, of the world adjust to this just-in-time infrastructure of societal change.